So yeah, thank you for the invitation. My name is Shiwei Jie. So glad to be here to share some experience of the 2020 and 21 where we organized an online event. And today, I'm going to. It's not so well prepared. It's called well prepared slides, but this is for another conference. But I will divide the. I think I divided the content of today into two parts. It's about tribe against machine, which is the core content of this online event. It's a previous event we made, and then we migrate the community and the content to as the basis of this online event. So, and then the rest, I think I will focus on how the process, how we design the whole event, and what is the outcome and the reviews, feedbacks, something. So, and so the event of this online event we made, it was the purpose was to expand the range of the traditional crafting for the Taiwanese craft crowd, and that was it's a collaboration with Taiwan National Research and Design, Taiwan NTCRI, National Taiwan Craftsmanship Research and Research and Design Institute. So, and then the reason why I collaborate with them is I used to I use a lot of traditional technique and also the science and technology, the modern technology together in my work. And how I started it, it was I had this residency in Oaxaca. It was in Mexico, and by then it was just the content was very regular. It's conventional. It's a typical residency, and we went with I go to the village with another team. Actually, this was this was their project. I was just a part of them. I'm under the whole program as a small part. I was there to design a small garment for puppet with e-textile skills. And what we do is we go visit all the villages, and then we explore the local culture and transform or convert the local rural culture or legend into action figures. So it's a way to document the local history. But what is alternative here is maybe it's in the materials part, because I was very into this conductive threads, and how do I combine this conductive material into the traditional hand making practice. So in a way, I can work with them and work with the local villagers, which they don't have the English language skills, and without any engineer backgrounds. So the way is by weaving and by embroidery. So I was thinking to convert this schematic into embroidery. My work is to convert functions into textiles format. So like this one was it's a very small Arduino computer chip with several multiplexers, which can decode the animation into LED informations. And that's the result. So that was the thing, how initiate me, how I was initiated or inspired that my skills can evolve or I can go to, as a media artist, I can participate in other social design projects with my skill techniques. And then I found this e-textile summer camp group, which are very big European-based e-textile group. So they host this summer camp. They have a lot of, usually they have many summer camp in summer. So this one, they focus in e-textile, and every year we go to France, south of France, to share our project and exploration in materials. So this is how I get inspired that the community is very important, and how you gather the community by sharing skills, knowledge, and friendship. So this community was hosted by Mika and Hannah. If you know something about e-textile, maybe you know the very famous artist group from them. It's called Koba Count. So what is e-textile? It's actually why we are very into e-textile in this scenario. I mean, in this scenario, to work with the NTCRI, the National Taiwan Craftsmanship Center, it's because weaving and the textile skills and the technology. I mean, this is actually the intersection of the technology and the traditional craft. For example, like a history, like the jacquard machine for textile is actually the origins of the computers. We first developed the punching card for the jacquard loom, being able to make complex textile patterns. And then this technology was shifted to make the first computer. So actually the 0 and 1 concept is from textile. So a lot of e-textile artists there are very fascinated in the weaving structure, to combine the weaving structure and the decoding, encoding process of the computer in a conceptual way. So for example, like these captions are still in Chinese. And for example, the first memory card, the first generation of the memory card is called the core rope memory. It is also manufactured in weaving structure, and because of its ferromagnetic field features, so it is able to document the thread. The conductive thread is carry magnetic field or not, in order to indicate the state of 0 and 1. And if you have weaving structures, means you have arrays and the matrix. So you can simply document something with inside these weaving structures. So in the group, one group of the summer camp was demonstrating how they store an 8-bit information in their jacket prototype. And the other example is the father of the wearable, because like we always talk about this man, Steve Mann. He is the first guy to had this idea to wear all the computer with him on the body. So you can see the first generation that is carrying super huge equipment, and then slowly it goes smaller. And he is also the inventor of the Google Eyes. Or also some wearable cameras in 90s. And in the summer camp, we also have this, we also have something aside from electronics. Some people, they develop biotextiles. For example, the kombucha, I think now it's very famous material for generating bacteria cellulose. You just grow your own food, and also you can exploit its cellulose for textile usage. And this was an idea for first idea of an American artist called Susan Lee. So other prototypes like combining with simple weaving structure and machine embroidery with application like a touch sensor, touch pad, or antennas. So all of these are in the summer camp, but anyway, people are demonstrating this kind of knowledge, how they combine both disciplines, and as a media in their project, as an artist project. So okay, basically that's what we do. And then in 2017, we had this event called the Tribe Against Machine. So because I was there for continuously 3 years for this summer camp, and noticed that there's rarely artists to connect craftsmanship with technology with ethnic culture content, but which in South Island, for South Island people, this is super it's just our daily life. We are super used to it, so that's why we hosted this event and invite so many artists from the group to Taiwan. So the idea was to document, to find a new format, innovative format as a cultural archiving for indigenous artist group. For example, the LED stuff and the touch sensor weaving made of weaving and the embroidery, and we made an exchange like workshops, as very similar to the summer camp format. Basically, just you host workshops and the talks, and you just exchange culture. And at night, we have pecha kucha. You can talk about whatever you want to share with other people within 3 minutes, and you drink together, you live together in 10 days. So anyway, but the fun part is it's in the take place in the Aboriginal village. So it's rarely to see such a big group of artists, of international artists, to live there in the indigenous people village. That's the event outcome. So people are. We made a lot of combination. How to say, by re-innovate the traditional indigenous costume, but modified with e-textile, so it has function embedded. And all these creation are all co-created by both the Aboriginal group and the e-textile group under the concept of a spirit, the unseen force. Or so for example, the e-textile group, they tend to interpret this concept of spirit as a magnetic field. So a lot of antenna or touch sensor was embedded in this piece. This is a traditional bright hayset of Atayo people, but there's an antenna on top of it, and there's a lily pad, which is a very typical Arduino for e-textile group. I think you can see it as more like a symbol instead of a computer. It just this computer is receiving the noise from the antenna, and then to tell the two servos on both sides of the hayset to turn the beats of the pearls to make sound. and also something like the mixture of the conductive fabric and lily pad and the bioplastic. So this was the very pre-prototype of the online event. So basically, what we do is we try to, because actually no one want the online residency. This is very contradictory. You want the residency because you want the experience, you want the cultural exchange experience. So what the concept or our motivation was try as much as we can to duplicate this experience. And here are another project of Tribe Against Machine, but I will skip it here. This is another one to build a greenhouse in Tibet. Okay, so and then go back to the event of this event is called Having Friends in the Future. The why we made this name because this is a project, I think it's based on the speculative design. So we don't know what we want yet. So that's why we call it friend. So the friends can be content or skills or technology or a new format of collaborations. So and this is our first idea. The schedule, how the structure, how we expected things will happen. So firstly, we made this online code, and we gather artists, applications, and then we want to make some online. Then we want to generate some online event, including it's a gathering called the Zoom in presentation, which is just something like a pecha kucha, like you want to introduce yourself, and but we say that we expect you to introduce something like more like a crafting skills, and you can, the best is if you can introduce it step by step. So so I think that's that is the reason, or that is the attraction for this is the thing, how to say, this is how we attract the applicants. So I think all the applicants, participants in our event, they are fan of Tribe Against Machine, or either they are fan of crafts. So all the participants, this is the essential how to say statement in your open code. We want people who share interest for the combination, in how to find a combination of technology and the traditional crafting skills. So then that's how we organize the online talk. So you have a very central topic, and then we expect them to generate some prototype, which is in physical format, and we call it swatch. It's a very it's a small piece of a swatch with some materials that you used in your art project. But this is also a traditional. It is also a tradition of this e-textile summer camp. I didn't invented this. I just I just continue using it in our event. So every year we go to the summer camp and we exchange these small swatches all together. So if you go there, I want to share, for example, I want to share my project, and the host will tell me how many participants this year, and then I will make 20 copies of the same thing, and then they will assemble it into a book. So everyone will have a book before we left. So that's how we embedded that's how we put this part, why we put this part in this online event too, because I think this is a great idea to at least you can have some physical content, not completely digital. And then the workshop, we still have the workshop. So this workshop is, and the difference is online. So the priority thinking was, okay, so we're gonna do things because all the participants was aboard, and how do we do workshop together? So the research was around how do we connect physical spaces with different fabrication technologies by internet. So is there a way to share the resource together in remote distant? And also the reason why we called the friends in the future is also this is a this is a terms of this is a sentence I found online, and this was about the article. From the article, the article was about how global industries work together by using by exploiting the time difference within different time zones. So this global industry or collaboration will never stop, because once you wake up, somebody goes to bed, and then we carry on the other people's research and then or work, and then we continue to develop it. So in the beginning, which I thought, oh, it could make this kind of model. Okay, anyway, so and then as soon we get these prototypes down, we want to enlarge it more. We want to send some funding to the participants to encourage them to make this to develop this work better. So we said, oh, the pink part was to about the time for you to develop your project better. I should talk here. Yeah, like a prototype refinement. So anyway, eventually, we did have received all the swatch from all the participants, and we made those. We made 16 books, and we send it back to all other participants. What is the sound? 30 minutes. Okay, and then after this online event, we want to. I always say we, but honestly, there is no. I would say there's no we. This is another big part, but I think I will leave it later, because during this event, the we is very vague, because this is a collaboration with a national center and the tribal against, but we use the core of this collaboration was based on an individual artist or a collective event model. So there's a spirit or administration conflict. So when we say we always have a very different agenda within this we. But okay, so there's still a we. Okay, so I say we. So, but here I say we. I'm referring more like myself. So I think this to design this online event, I had this I had this concept model. So I was researching some collective or common for collective or common ground, or how do we do things together through internet. And I found this concept is this is but I don't have the English here. So anyway, this is a how there's some situation how a country, part of a country is within another country. For example, like in the picture in the left, there's 3 countries, but they are all no, there's 2 countries, and C belongs to B, but the territory was not connected, and there was some discussing or debate like how this land should be to be managed, because they are not connected, and this under this specific situation, there's some interesting policy generated, and in the picture of in the right is also about this situation, but it's in a more complex situation. Anyway, and then this is a picture of a very typical material library. It's called material connection. If I'm right, this is maybe the first material library in the world. So so after the online event, we want to make a physical exhibition. So, and by the time we curate this physical exhibition, I want to make it happen under the concept of material lab, to make an online platform or to design a mechanism for people to involved. So it's like a game you can play, you can actually interact with. So that's why I said, oh, we made some prototype, we made some swatch books, we made some materials. So maybe material library is a good idea. And the other reason why I choose material library is because I thought, in my opinion, material library is a very common vocabulary for everyone, because it's very global product. But, and yeah, okay. So for example, like the weaving and the conductive thread in the previous work of mine you saw. So that could create a common ground for people who don't speak the common languages. When I say people, I mean craftsmanship people, media art people, and maybe agriculture people. So the idea was to make this common ground, and the format is a material library. And when you have this material library in your mind, I mean this cross-domain common vocabulary, it's a concept. So if you have a pre-built concept, you do things together quickly and less conflict, right? Yeah, but actually then I think this is not so success in the end, because when I work with NTCRI, they have very different idea or interpretation for material library. They have completely no any knowledge for what is material library as an industry or as a ready-made platform. They have nothing like this. So also I think this concept it was a good idea in the beginning, but then we have a lot of debate and fight and said, what is library? They said, okay, for our nature fiber artists, in our home, the cotton, the silk, the loom, anyway, they think everything could be material library. They don't have this global industrial image in their mind. So when I try to make a common language, I failed here. I hope you understand. I think I can. This is another chapter I was trying to. This is another, how to say, this is another idea behind the online event, because I travel a lot and I participate in many groups, and by the time I try to expand the idea of tribe against machine into into a bigger concept. So I was trying to expanding the term of tribe into more like individual camps or ununified cultural group, not just ethnic, instead of ethnic group. So I thought everyone, or for all individual artist group or all autonomous artist group could be tribe, sort of tribe, and how we can connect all these tribes by an online event. And while you are doing this action, what is the, I mean, this is some sort of, you are trying to connect, you are trying to make a global connection, but, and making global connection, I don't know if this very mean action supports the individual spirit. If you try to make a global network, or I don't know if it helps the individual culture grows or developed, or you are more unifying them into this globalization. So, I mean, this is another concern behind the design. And the other concept I want to talk about is the citizen science movement. So I think you all know what is citizen science movement. So, I mean, this is another concept behind the design. Like, how do you design this network? What is democracy, and especially the people we connect, they're artists, or scientists. But I think I appreciate those groups, the spirit of those groups, more like amateurs, because they don't have this. I mean, usually if you work with amateurs, they have less political concerns or political intentions, and I think that is important. And I want to support this kind of spirit. But this is a very intuitive thinking by exploiting this citizen science movement. But I tend to make friends with this group, including like Gosh or Hectaria, and like, for example, like e-textile summer camp, and also after e-textile summer camp, we have several artists. We make our own event, one in New York and one in Romania. And when the one in Taiwan, we are the first one. We were the first one. So we have this network, and I think to connect this global network is also the advantage why you want to make an online platform. So everyone around the world could join. So, this is the one of this is work of from a participant in our event. She's also the how to say, we do the brainstorming together for this online event. Her name is Aphrodite Sala. This is her project to use e-textile, to combine e-textile and the citizen science. She's using a self-made textile antenna to hijack the data from a climate satellite, and then she converted the data of the satellite into knitting work. And this is Anastasia Pistofito. She is the founder of the Fab Academy in Spain. It's a Fab Lab Barcelona, sorry. And she made a lot of bioplastic materials together and organize it as a material library. And I think she's I mean, her work is a big reference for me. And on the wall, in the picture, there's the material library piece. Sorry, the swatch in the material library, and some bacteria dye prototypes. And she's introducing those her latest work in New York, in the New York event in 2018. For this part, this is a video, but I think it's too time consuming. I will just, because I did several interviews. I will go to the site now. This is our project site. So in this, after the event and before we design the physical exhibition, I did several interviews with them again. And I asked that, and the topic was, the question was around what is common ground and what is your opinion about how to combine new and old. And this one, Audrey Bihiot gave a very simple reply. Why she was on what is her process to participate her experience to participate in the event, and she think to make this online. But this is our case because we work with craftsmanship people. I don't know if you guys, maybe you work with people who are familiar with digital media or social media, very in the same level. But in our case, we work with ethnic culture, and we work with traditional craft people, so they are not familiar with digital media. Yeah. So, and she thinks, for example, like for this online platform, it is very easy to use existed platform like a GitHub or other platform to share coding or library, but it is not. It is very difficult for textile or craftsmanship people to establish this kind of platform, and that is the. In our case, we want to archive unusual elements. I mean, that is like why we want to work with the remote area is like we want to find we want to hack the way how the world developed, or what is the direction the world is towarding to. Because I think or we want, I mean, this is more like why we want to work in between old and new, because we want to look for something new in the past. So that is why we can reinvent the new, which is the future. So that's the spirit behind the action, why we want to create this platform. But she was talking about how why this is difficult, and also what is collective. And how do you make platform to actually make people, including all the people within this platform, because you cannot just make the common ground and say, okay, this is the common ground and you all come here to work together. She mentioned the one thing is that one important thing is you got to have some library. For example, in our case, it's the material library. And for the digital art people, maybe it's the GitHub or the coding library, but they all have this very easy access the format, so you can grab it and use it, and that is the very essential element for you to make this platform or collective, so people can share multidiscipline knowledges easily. But in our case, we don't have that because the traditional craftsmanship center, maybe the lack of this the digital tools culture. So I'm just here to share this with you. I think this is pretty much my sharing, and you are welcome to explore the site, or I can just quickly go through the site with you together. So in the front page, this is called hff2020.xyz. I choose XYZ because I don't know what is it, the event. So we document the whole exhibition with 3D 3D capturing, so you can view it with 3D. Now, the exhibition has dismantled to yesterday. So this is the material library we finally made. It's in the first floor, but unfortunately, we only received maybe 4 materials from our remote artist. And most of the materials you see was provided by one local artist. So we kind of fake it, because I was expecting this platform is a I was expecting this material library as a platform, or it's a mechanism for local and the remote artists to exchange each other, but the exchange didn't happen. So here you can view it as a symbol or sculpture of the process. And here all the material, but instead of that, the materials are quite interesting, but it's all from the local nature fiber artist, Yang Wei Lin. But we don't, if you click it, you can see the name, but and also the English, but we don't have any content of that. And because we don't have, we lack of budget to continue to make it perfect. And here we have this, the swatch exchange section. You can see it. And here you see the document. But everything here is documented in the in our wiki. In our wiki. This is the tribal dance machine. If you go to tribal dance, machine organization. You see the event document, and also the wiki. If you click wiki here, you go to, we have English version. Yep. Go here, HFF swatch booth. Oh, yeah. All right, wait, I go back to this site. Yeah, we expect people to document things here, but actually it's not very active. So go back to okay. So you can spend your time here a little bit. And we also have a B1. So for example, like this is Wei Ling's work. After the after the online event, I think that was that was her first time in contact with this kombucha cellulose. So she was a nature fiber artist. She usually use a paper pulp to make her art. And after this online event, she made these kombucha pieces. And the topic is under some dinner or kitchen art movement. For this whole section, not just her. And here we have another participant from Spain, and she's using kombucha to make a battery with gelatin. So it's edible and it's a battery. And this is another artist work. She after the event from Victoria. I forgot her first name. Sorry. Rom. Okay, and I think it's Victoria Romania. Anyway, sorry. I'm so sorry. But her project after the event is to stir your pot to make change with food recipes. But as you can see, the result may be poor because she has only made a website and she wanted to open code the recipes from Taiwan or through US, but our funding couldn't support her to complete the whole process. So we only have the concept words and one participant in her open code here. And this is actually my work. I was here to dye some solar cell with fruit. This is a technology called dye-sensitized solar cell, and I made a sculpture to demonstrate this trip in Tibet, how I make a greenhouse with the local people. And here is another artist, and she is very good fashion designers, and she made some LED circuits and perfectly embedded into her weaving structures. And this project is talking about, she's using the LED to reflect weather and the way to reflect the weather data. The concept in her piece is she's trying to talk about what is the nature and how to redefine nature in a very philosophical way. It's not just to talk about environment. She's more like talking about in between nature and artificial. And some students work here. So for example, like this is she's from a design school, but I think she learned some paper mulberry pulp techniques. So she made a model with paper mulberries fibers and combining with some touch sensors with conductive threads. So there's some conductive parts under the paper mulberry pulp. So if you touch the tool, it makes some sound. So some interesting interaction, but very simple. And this is from some, this is not from our participants, it's from another workshop, which I organized. And she's just made some LEDs and on this two fan. But this two fan is really, it's made delicately and it's involved with some local painting technique and made of bamboo and paper mulberry tree fiber too. And in the middle is the interviews videos of all the artists. So by the way, one thing to notice is if you come here, and this is called the second physical exhibition, we name it the Third Nature Fiber Library. And this logo on the top is the 2020 online event. So we document the data all here. And the second logo here is the material library part. I think yeah, if you have questions, so maybe thank you for listening. Maybe we can start some discussions. Thanks.